But bringing it back to the prioritizing human safety, is it even wrong to think when you bring up the paperclip thought experiment or
Yes.
AI running loose, should that even be a question?
No, it should definitely be a question. It's a certainly interesting and existentially important question. And I don't think that the doomers, for the most part, lack integrity. It's a very natural thought. I think that there are some problems and some possible flaws with the argument. I suspect that an entity that is smart enough to turn the world into paperclips is easier to build if it is able to question the course of its actions. And so humans that have similar goals is like turning the world into paperclips rather than some general goal of being everything that they can be, tend to be less successful than the monomaniacs because you can predict them and outsmart them. And ultimately, this limits your course of actions in a way that an agent that doesn't have such a limitation of producing such an arbitrary goal is would have. So I suspect that the people who are afraid of the paperclip maximizers are in some sense reporting on their own psychology. They're Keegan level 4 people who understand how to be effective in the world in the sense that they create rational strategies to reach their goals, but they don't really understand where the goals are coming from. And people who are mostly focused on the goal setting itself, on the contents of their agency, tend to be more the level 5 people who are more worried about the question whether the AI that they're going to build is enlightened enough to do the right thing. But from this perspective, once you disidentify, it's very difficult for you to prefer your present state from the AI state, right? You don't know whether you are better than your upload could be. You probably are not, you're just different. And you can recognize that you have multiple identities in the same way as you might have an identity right now as a lover, as a father, as somebody who's concerned about the future of humanity, as an interviewer, and so on. And these identities don't need to be consistent, right? They are different identities that you serve at different times. And from some of these perspectives, the worries are justified. From other perspectives, you might think evolution has never failed so far. It always created to more interesting structure, more interesting consciousness, more interesting complexity. And so it doesn't seem that AI is going to make the world more boring. So I would say that worry is not mandatory. You don't need to freak out about AI, even if you assume that it's going to lead to a bad outcome, which I sometimes don't feel that it will, because I suspect that it only looks like this from an extremely local perspective. But the world is much bigger than we can individually comprehend. There is probably intelligent entities that are smarter than the smartest human beings right now. And these are entities that emerge at the group level or as a collective level or ecosystemic levels.
Countries, companies.
Yes, or life on Earth itself, right? Life on Earth is a general intelligence and we are just a tiny part of it.
The galaxy as a whole.
Who knows? I think that the galaxy itself doesn't have the structural properties of life. The galaxy is not agentic, the cell is. And so basically the cell is able to predict the future because it's able to make models. I don't think that the galaxy as such can make models.
The universe though?
It depends on what you identify as the universe. So you could say that the cell is a part of the universe. And so via the cell, the universe is able to make models. But I'm unaware of other structures that can make models of the future, but if not cells and conglomerations of cells and stuff that is being built by conglomerations of cells, which is the computers that we currently create. So we see that there's a succession of evolutionary structure in maybe in other corners of the universe or at corners of the planet that we currently don't understand, that are not in the purview of science and so on. I have no idea what that should be. There is other intelligence and consciousness already, but I think that AI heralds the possibility of more interesting consciousness in the future, and that consciousness in the world is just getting started. And I also suspect that there will be developments that we currently don't anticipate, in the sense that we can harness this technology to make ourselves wiser and smarter. AI is fundamentally a technology that solves problems by using better information in more efficient ways. And so I suspect that AI is actually going to solve more problems that it creates. Right? It's a very simple statement, but I think it's fundamentally true. And I don't know yet what we'll do with it and how this is going to develop, but I think that there is a possible future in which each of us uses AI to become smarter and extend ourselves. Instead of losing agency to the systems, we get more agency. And we also build more deep interfaces to each other and to the reality that we are in. And we get out of this stressed existential state and can use our augmented minds to project ourselves into the future again. And it could be that part of that wisdom is that we understand how to make these systems profoundly safe.